What's up everybody, and welcome back to another action figure review. Today I'm checking out the McFarlane Toys Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat 11. The big boss of the Mortal Kombat tournament himself is a truly menacing adversary, and this action figure really showcases how violent and evil he is. Shao Kahn is the largest action figure in the line, and from the looks of it, seems to be like the coolest one yet with his razor-sharp body armor and his classic samurai skull helmet. His massive warhammer he uses in-game to golf ball his opponent's heads into an oblivion is the only accessory he comes with, but it is the only accessory he really needs. I am so pumped to be adding Shao Kahn to my McFarlane Toys Mortal Kombat collection, so let's go ahead and check him out. And here is our Shao Kahn action figure in the new Mortal Kombat 11 branding. We have the window packaging on the front, Shao Kahn down on the bottom. Let's flip over to the side here. We have his Warhammer on the side. Very boring side panel. Let's flip to the back here. And a nice product shot of Shao Kahn. Excellent pose. I really love the way this guy looks. He's going to be awesome on the shelf and in the collection. And on the side panel here, we have another product shot of Shao Kahn, a little close-up. Looks really good. I love all the shadow and contrast work in this photo. And then that's it for the packaging. I love that you can see every little detail on this guy. It also really helps that he's massive and big. And I love that Warhammer. I can't wait to have it and wield it in my hand and smash everything around. All right, guys, let's take him out of the packaging and check him out. And here I was trying to take his Warhammer out of his hand, and I busted off his arm completely. And at last, here is Shao Kahn out of the packaging, and he looks absolutely awesome. Yes, you guys saw it earlier, but his arm did fall off. It didn't break off, but I was trying to put the Warhammer in his hand and take it out, and I eventually just ripped off the arm. I was trying to rotate his bicep, and you apparently can't rotate his right bicep because of this massive piece of armor on the side here. So that's unfortunate already to find out. It clicked right back in. I was able to pull it off a couple times actually. It just snaps right back in there. I'm okay with it. It doesn't seem to be coming out as easy as Spawn's leg was coming out, so I'm okay with this. I am not angry at Shao Kahn anymore. We'll see if the arm comes off throughout this video, but here he is, and he is a monster of an action figure, guys. He's huge. He's tall. He does tower over every other Mortal Kombat character figure that we got so far in the line. Now, I don't have the best first impressions, but there are lots of good things about this guy, and, well, lots of bad things about this guy. His sculpt is absolutely awesome. Let's just get that out of the way. He looks insanely good, yet he has actually replaced my favorite, Raiden, as the best. I'd say he is just top notch. Look at him. He's huge. He's menacing. He looks like he's from Mortal Kombat. The paint job on this guy looks really good. Not a spot missed. However, there are a couple things going on with the paint job, but overall the paint job looks really nice. I love all the silvers and all the golds. The red pops out a little bit as well. I love how the hammer, look at the hammer here, how much it shines and pops. I wish it was a little grittier and dirtier, not so perfect and metallic-y. The articulation on this action figure, though, is not the best. Obviously, just because of the amount of armor he's wearing, he gets hindered, well, not everywhere, but in a lot of spots he gets hindered with movement. And with that being said, let's take a closer look at the sculpt and all the details on this Shao Kahn. Seriously, guys, check out all the details on this guy. He looks just insane, yo. Just beautiful. Everything about him, the sculpt, and he just looks good. I'm blown away. Can you not tell by my stuttering? I don't even know what to say. I'm just amazed at how good this guy actually looks. Let's take a quick look at his shoulder pad pauldron here. Look at all the details and the sculpting work. You can really zone in and take a look at all the details. It's just everywhere on this guy, right here, even on his helmet, there's like a lot of texture. There's texture everywhere on this guy. This black body armor back here, I think it's supposed to be leather. It looks like leather, and you can definitely feel it too. Definitely has that leather look and texture to it. His arms have a bunch of spikes, and I do wish these spikes were a different color though. I wish they were like a more bone and not so much his skin tone. And speaking of skin tone, actually, he kind of has like two different colors of skin tone. There's this bright brown on his chest, and then you can actually see like a darker skin tone, I guess, on the sides and the back of his body. I'm not too sure if that's like a paint job issue or that could be like a character design. I'm not entirely too sure, and I'm honestly not a fan of it at all. I'd rather have him just be one color. I guess he's supposed to have like lizard skin or like dragon skin or something. So I guess I understand why it would be a little brighter on the inside. The coloring everywhere else on this guy looks really good. The red sticks right out. It's very punchy, more punchier than that Liu Kang action figure. And the gold is just, woo, it looks perfect. I love the way this gold looks. And the Warhammer is probably one of my favorite parts about this figure overall. I love the Mortal Kombat Dragon classic Shao Kahn Warhammer right here. Now that's just the upper torso. Let's take a look at his legs and below. You can see this little flap here. Lots of texture. You can see the stitching. And whatever kind of fabric this light brown is supposed to be, it feels really nice. Lots of details in there. Again, with the paint job on his leg, two different colors. It looks very weird to me. I wish they executed the paint job a little better. Especially, take a look right here. The brown is the same color going all the way down his leg, except these little straps here. You can see that the straps are a little different color. Kind of doesn't make sense to me. His foot looks also very weird being the same color everywhere. His toenails aren't even painted a different color. But you know what? The detail is there. The paint job, not so much, but the detail is there. You see all the scales and the dragon scales. I guess they are dragon scales. And the spikes on his pads here. His shin guards. I love the spikes on his feet themselves. I know he's supposed to be wearing sandals, but it doesn't actually look like he's wearing sandals at all, simply because they're the same color of his skin. It looks very awkward for his leg to be the same color. The red over here on this cloth looks awesome. It is a soft plastic, which is very cool. Two different tones of red, which I like. This maroon and then like this bright poppy red. Looks really good. Really punchy. Stands right out. Back here as well with the flap. Love that color. Looks really good. Same up here. It's all soft plastic. Now, I do appreciate the armor being a soft plastic. I really, really do. I thought it was going to be a lot harder, and I thought these were going to be super sharp, but they're not as sharp as I expected. They are sharp, but you can bend his shoulder pads. The feet, actually, his shin guards and his toes, though, you do have to be careful. Those spikes are very, very hard. And when I was trying to articulate him earlier, especially his legs, I was, gripping on to his legs, and I was actually kind of hurting myself. His shoulder blades and these spikes here, you don't have a problem with. They're not going to hurt you. His helmet, not going to hurt you either. They are sharp, but, again, it's a soft plastic. Besides this awesome Warhammer, I'd say another great feature, if not my favorite feature overall on this guy, is his helmet. It is Shao Kahn's helmet. You can't deny it. It looks absolutely insanely cool. Love that samurai helmet. There's so much detail on this helmet as well. You have all these little studs in here. You can really see that. You can see the red, I guess the stitching in his helmet here. I love the strap right here. It looks really good. The black leather going all the way around. The hands on this guy, just like every other Mortal Kombat figure, are very, very tight. And it was quite a struggle to get the maul into this hand. I kind of hurt myself trying to get it in there just because of his arm spikes, but they're very, very stiff. So you do have to kind of pry them open as much as you can and just kind of shimmy the Warhammer in there as best you can. As tight as their hands are, you're not going to break their hands by shoving the weapons in there. If anything, you're just going to wear out the paint job on the weapons, like that Liu Kang action figure. The paint on this guy doesn't seem to be coming off. But let's get to it. Let's check out the articulation on this guy. And as always with articulation, we're going to start with his feet. So with his ankle, he does have a ball point down there. and it moves very smooth up and down, rotates. Of course, you can rotate it on whatever angle you want, and he has that toe bend. It's okay, it's a good toe bend, also very well hidden. Let's check out his knee. It is a double jointed knee, and surprisingly, it's not hindered at all, despite all the armor that he has here. So he can extend it more than a lot of the other Mortal Kombat figures, to be honest. So that's very cool that his knee could bend that much. Both knees are the exact same. Now his thighs, however, this is where we start running into articulation issues. This is as far as he can spread and do the splits. It's not good, not far as much as I would like. This awesome armor, it looks great, but it does impede a lot of his movement, so he can't go any further than that. He has a mid-slice right here, mid-torso, that you could spin all the way, so that's really cool. You can actually spin the lower part of his torso, but it takes a lot of stress to do so. If you were supposed to be able to spin the his bottom torso, it shouldn't be that difficult. His arms are a little shoddy. This arm, his left arm, works perfectly. Flawless, not stiff at all. Not stiff anymore. But, and then he does supposedly have a double jointed elbow, but you can't actually rotate this forearm portion any further back just because his arm is too big and it gets in the way, so it moves as much as I would like that elbow to move. It's okay. You can actually rotate the bicep as well. It's a little stiff, so I kind of have to hold the back here, but you can rotate. There it is. You can rotate the bicep. There we go. We're loosening it. There it is. And of course, the wrist, it's on that ball peg where you can rotate on any angle and move it however you like. So that wrist, that arm is awesome. Love it. This arm, the problem arm, is what I'm not too happy about. This is as far as I could move his arm, just because of, look at all this armor here. It's actually very hard to even rotate this bicep. Like I could hardly even nudge it. And this is basically how I popped his arm out of the socket, just like that. And his forearm, sorry, his wrist, it does spin. You can spin it, but you can't move it up and down like you can with this wrist. There is a ball peg on this side too, but this gauntlet here, this amazing looking gauntlet, like I said, he has insane amount of armor. It looks beautiful, looks stunning, but it gets in the way of his articulation so much. You can't even actually like move his wrist up and down, left or right. You're basically left with a wrist that just spins. Moving on up to his head, you can rotate it 360 degrees. No problem, doesn't get impeded by any of the shoulder blades or anything. And he can move it really any way you want, even on angles. You can lift it. Like, looks really good. Good articulation in the head. One of the better ones for sure. Next up, we're talking paint job on this Shao Kahn. And as I mentioned before, it's good and it's bad. I do really love the gold and the silvers on this guy. The red looks really good and menacing. I've said this many times, guys. He has no wash. And on someone like this, not having a wash really does affect the way he looks. Or rather, it affects how good he can look. Let's take a look at his arm here. It is just, you know, two colors of brown, which kind of meld into each other. Actually, three, including this leather strap. It is a different color brown. You can actually tell if you look closely, but you can see all these bones and the scales in his arm, and they don't really show like at all because there's no highlights on them. You can see this light brown here and how it just cuts off, goes into the leather strap, and then continues on this dark brown path here. Look at all the details down here, like the scales. Too bad there was no wash, because these scales will just pop right out, or highlights. There's no dry brushing or anything. The other colors, they are a little bright and not as dull and worn and battle worn as much as I'd like. You know, when I imagine Shao Kahn, I don't imagine this shiny looking guy. I imagine someone that's either covered in blood or a guy with body armor that's been used and abused and you know, like worn. Execution on the application of the paint, very well done. The paint doesn't bleed off on any other parts. His gauntlet looks really good too, and you can tell that it's battle worn. It has, you know, marks and scrapes in it. I just wish you can see them a lot more. Imagine how much cooler this guy would look if there was a wash or some highlights on the fabric here, on the fabric down here, on the back flap, and on the side. Like all the detail right here that would pop out with a wash. The potential in these Mortal Kombat toys is so great, but they're just not there yet. He's definitely the one that's going to stand out the most in the collection. Let's take a quick look at all his accessories, and he only comes with 2. One being the Mortal Kombat base that all these figures are coming with. So there's a peg in the base, hole in the bottom of his foot. You guys have seen this time and time again. There you go. Base is on. He stands up perfectly on the base. He actually does stand really well on his own. He doesn't really need the base. He's pretty big and bulky, and he has massive feet that allow him to just stand properly. And his second accessory is his classic trademark Warhammer, the Mortal Kombat Warhammer itself. There it is, everybody. You have the emblem on both sides of the Warhammer. You have all these nice little details in there, and on the top as well, same kind of pattern. And now on the sides here, looks like a meat tenderizer. So they're tiny little spikes, grooves there. I guess that's what he does in the game. He just tenderizes all his opponents. Now the paint job on it is really nicely done as well. It's very, very shiny. There isn't a wash on here, so it looks a lot brighter than I would expect and that I would like, to be honest. I wish there was even a little bit of blood on there, or just some kind of black weathering on there, or brown, you know, make it worn and torn. Red handle, lots of gold. The spike on the end is really cool. It's going to look awesome in poses and on the skulls of his opponents. And that's about it. That is Shao Kahn's Warhammer, and it is glorious. As for issues and gripes with this guy, there aren't too many, but there are some really important ones. I do wish that the skin tone on this guy was a little bit better executed wise. These don't look weathered enough to me, like they've been used and gone through combat. He just looks too bright and shiny and glamour-esque, like he's never been through battle. He's been through several thousand fights, I'm sure. You can see all the details here. I wish all those details would shine and be visible, but they're not, just because of no highlights or washes or anything. His articulation is a big problem. You know, it's too bad that he can only move that far and that this arm hardly moves. And of course, we've got to pit Shao Kahn up against some of our Mortal Kombat 11 action figures we have in the line so far. You can see how much bigger Shao Kahn is against Spawn, and Spawn was quite a beefy character, but Shao Kahn takes the cake. There's only one other guy that Shao Kahn can face up against when it comes down to mass, and that is Raiden. I don't know who my favorite is, guys. As a character, of course, I'm going to go with Raiden, but as in figure form, Shao Kahn is my favorite action figure of the McFarlane Toys Mortal Kombat 11 line. So my overall opinion, if you didn't grasp at it yet, I'm pretty sure Shao Kahn to me is pretty awesome. He obviously does have his flaws when it comes down to articulation and that paint job, especially the brown skin tone, but honestly, this action figure looks just so incredible, very menacing. I love how he just stands right out because of all that gold and silver on him and highlights of red. To me, this Shao Kahn is a perfect example of an action figure that doesn't have the best articulation, but makes up for it with its sculpt and details, ranging from spikes to bones to body armor to details in the armor. His one Warhammer accessory is all I really needed. It's sculpted and it's painted so wonderfully, and it looks so menacing in the hands of Shao Kahn. Alright everyone, thanks for checking out my review of McFarlane Toys Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat 11. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a like, comment down below, and let me know if you have this figure and what you like or don't like about it. Who's your favorite in the MK11 line so far? Let's start a conversation down there, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're into action figure reviews. I'll be posting more photos of Shao Kahn on my Instagram, which you can check out at Claudio_Paola, so follow me there for more content. Thanks again for watching, and you can catch me in the next one.